He promised to end the war in a day, then he changed it to 100 days. And then he said he was being sarcastic and never mind. Donald Trump wants to have a ceasefire in Ukraine by the end of April. We'll see how this video looks in 2 weeks. It didn't look good. Russia first ignored America's request for a 30-day ceasefire. They said, yeah, sure, it sounds pretty good, but we would like all of Ukraine's east before we go any further. And America said that's going to be difficult because Ukraine still are in the east. And as Trump tries to get a peace deal through, there appears to be no peace on the horizon. On April 13, Russia struck the northeastern town of Sumy in Ukraine. Russia said they were targeting a military ceremony, but as usual, civilians took the brunt. This is nothing new. Data from The Telegraph now shows that since Trump came into power, Russia's strikes on Ukraine have increased both in frequency and intensity. Here's the graph with 3 spikes. The first spike is the Ukraine war anniversary. Second spike is Trump arguing with Zelensky. And the third strike is Trump suspending intelligence to Ukraine. On March the 7th, when the US suspended military intel and help to Ukraine, Russia launched 252 drones. In the 30 days following February the 18th, when the peace talks began, some 4,776 drone strikes were launched by Russia compared to 3,148 drone strikes in the 30 days before. And this is according to Ukrainian Air Force Command updates. And on February the 28th, when Trump and J.D. Vance went head-to-head with Zelensky and said, "You're not being grateful enough," guess what? Drone strikes from Russia increased again. 208 drone strikes from Russia launched at Ukraine compared to just 166 the previous day. I say just, but notice how there is an increase in those attacks. And as you can see from this chart, there has been an increase of missiles and drones fired by Russia on the day. You would think this would make Trump look bad, but Trump's strategy has so far been to mostly ignore it. Of the attack on Sumy, he described that as a terrible mistake. And then Russia jumped in and said, whoa, we don't make mistakes. It wasn't a mistake. We were aiming for the military. Russia also said that if civilians were caught in the crossfire, that it was Ukraine's fault for using them as human shields. Hello? That's Israel? Yeah, they want their lines back. Not everyone is convinced. Poland, normally a staunch ally of America, has said that Russia is taking advantage of Trump's goodwill. Trump has so far shrugged off criticism. He has said it's Russia's fault. He has said it's Ukraine's fault. But what he hasn't said is that it's his fault. And don't expect that anytime soon either. It's not just the dialogue. Military aid is drying up, and so far Trump has not pledged any new deliveries. It is expected that in the next few months Ukraine will run out of the military gear that America had provided under Joe Biden. Will Trump renew it? Unlikely. Trump is also withdrawing troops and military support in Poland, in the town of Rzeszów, which is normally where they position the US troops. Rzeszów has become a vital hub for providing military gear and weapons to Ukraine due to its proximity towards Ukraine. Trump has now said that American troops will not be carrying out those duties. That will be going to, you guessed it, Europe. Another sign of the times, according to The Economist, was that America recently reached out to a country and questioned why it was still supporting Ukraine with military gear. That country's name was not disclosed by sources, and they allegedly ignored Trump as well. But it is disturbing in terms of showing how Ukraine's support from Trump is drying up. Other sources told The Economist privately in America that some were fed up of Europe's attempts to help bolster up Ukraine's defense. Trump's language is now changing. It's not changing to enact a ceasefire, it's changing to make him look good, at least to his supporters. Trump is now blaming Joe Biden, the previous president. "It's not my war," he complained recently. "I just got here." Trump has now stopped talking about how to end the war and is instead talking about how he would have ended the war in a scenario that can never happen in this timeline if he hadn't have lost the 2020 election. But as Trump's language changes, that is a dark sign for Ukraine. It shows that even Trump might be giving up on peace.